NFL. This is Alex and Felix, and we're going to go over week 8 picks. Last week we talked about, uh, a few topics, and I think the week before we did our Super Bowl
Yeah,
picks, right? Okay. So today we got some good things to discuss. One of them is being that this is sports talk. I know we do a lot of the NFL, but obviously everyone has heard by now what's happening with the NBA and some fines for players and head coaches around the league and the NFL. And then obviously our picks. And so, Alex, you want to kick us off with some of the fines that have taken place with the New York Giants.
yeah, we know this become the point of the year. After we, after we, after that Eagle game and New York game take a place for every year. So, um, that comes, but the more we be fine or you, but um, then he can go about what Gabu 50 and then continue itself to her if so no from so we know this will come uh, 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 but uh, but about time the time um yeah how they feel about that we all know this will come at that point that we all know how do they feel about that.
Okay. Well, it was a clear violation that they went into the tent. So if you don't know what we're referring to, in week 6, Eagles was playing the Giants at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Um, Jackson Dart, their rookie quarterback, went down for a temporary injury. So, obviously he had to go into the tent and be checked. Um, when you go into the tent, there's medical rights and things of this nature. No one is allowed in there other than the doctors. You had both Scatterboo, the running back, who literally walked in, didn't even
Yeah.
care. And then the coach who tried to go in and then peeked his head in there, which they're not supposed to do under no circumstances because they were looking to see have him come back. So they violated his privacy and they violated the rules in the NFL. And now here it is 2 weeks later, before the next matchup between the Eagles and Giants, which is now at Philadelphia. The fines are now hitting the franchise, the coach, and the player for violating that. So yeah, we knew those was coming. It was just a matter of how soon would the league go ahead and make the announcements of those fines for their conduct on the sidelines there.
Okay,
Um,
then we're gonna talk about that.
the
We talk,
NBA, folks, NBA.
yeah,
Now, look, I know we've talked about this right here in the NFL.
yeah,
And I know a lot of fans feel that the game is either rigged or they're heavily influenced by the gambling apps and Las Vegas. And I'm a fan too. And so I feel it. And I enjoy all the games. I'm not really loyal to one particular team, but I do enjoy football and love covering it. What bothers me is that the integrity of the game. And then when you look at the NBA has had a long history, along with Major League Baseball and as well as the NFL, with these problems. The problem is with today, with technology, you can gamble right at your fingertips. You don't even have to go to Las Vegas to place a bet. You can just do it right on the apps. After the game with the Detroit Lions and the Chiefs, which was a primetime game where you have majority of the country watching, and we seen the performance of what happened in that game with the Chiefs. And this is not the first time the Chiefs have been called out on this. The officiating in their home stadiums and their coaches and ownership about the integrity of the game. And if we better believe that if the NBA was involved in this, where you had coaches and players, I'm pretty doggone sure the NFL, who's generating probably a lot more gross profit, Um, there's no if buts about it. I'm pretty sure fans was begging the FBI to do an investigation on the NFL because we're kind of sick of it. The integrity of the game matters. It matters. And either you're going to go to practice, play hard, and show up to win that way, or you can continue to cheat and be greedy to try to win. But one way or another, the truth will be exposed. It's just a matter of time, I think, before something will come out of this as well in the NFL.
Yeah,
I know you felt this way also about Major League when you looked at this year's playoff
yeah,
performance before the World Series and everything. So we know that we have some corruption in these big league sports, and it's just sad because these young people when they're young and they go from high school and then they go into college. You work really hard to get to these stats, and then you go to the major leagues and you're getting these gigantic contracts. That should be enough. The owners should be getting enough. You get billions of dollars, from the ratings and from the networks and everything else. Everybody's making money. There's been no reason for anyone to reduce their integrity just for a few extra dollars. It's not worth it because if you get caught, you're definitely getting prison time. And so,
uh,
whatever it is, just stop it.
every every for for NBA, so they can do it for any well, be hockey and the AHL. So
Right. Even so-called Olympics, whatever. I mean, at this point, it's just time that look, we're either gonna ground everything and bring back some integrity and honor to the things we do in life, or we can keep going down this path of recklessness for greed and everything else that comes along with it. It's just crazy. To me, it's shameful. I don't know how those owners feel. I know the NBA is taking action and they were now concerned about the integrity of their game, and rightfully so. And they should have had this a long time ago. To be honest with you, it was just things that was going on for a while in NBA, and it's just being called out and it's just being done. So um, yeah. So with that being said, that's enough about that topic. Um, let's
uh,
focus on uh, our picks for week 8. I can't believe week 8.
yeah,
We're 1 week away from midway through this season, and then we'll be doing a midway picks for division and playoffs and Super Bowl. And then, of course, once we get real close to the big game, we'll know for sure who's going where, when, and how. So
yeah.
let's get into this. Okay, so we're gonna kick it off with both New York teams here, starting off week 8. Jets 1 o'clock game against Cincinnati Bengals. We all know that the Jets is hurting right now. They are the only winless team. Um, they are going against the Bengals and Joe Flacco. So who do you
Uh,
got?
both teams are are hurting, but it's not that bad. Yeah. Okay. But you got home. Uh, you got home. Uh, home for the bad. Yeah, they can eat it over. It's hard to cut down if you can put a hand, but you know, with the team, mobile team, have the exercise hold up the pack. Somebody has hold the for the back of has hold a couple years ago. All as a team, beginning. Uh, hang on, it's a football team couple years ago. Maybe it's a I think it's a game team. So this, this could be an year with the I had come but I had come make it make it over 13 team. They put around the year, but we got the but for me, I got the give me it got big yeah. I believe that that yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I gotta go with the Bengals. I've been trying to support the Jets and really wanted to see that team get a victory. But you know what? There's probably problems there internally that I have not actually took a closer look at to see what's really preventing this team from holding on and getting a victory. Maybe me picking against them will they'll get their first victory,
Yeah,
and with you picking them might get something. Oh, only one can hope for that.
yeah.
So now let's move right across from there. Also at 1 o'clock is the Giants versus your Eagles. This is now a within a 2 week span. These two teams are playing each other. The Eagles did not look sound minded in that game in MetLife. They're now home playing against the Giants. Giants had a not a good week last week. They were playing well against Denver, dominated again the entire game, and then at the very end, let it slip through their fingers all in the fourth quarter. Just bad decision making. Obviously, still rookie quarterback is gonna make mistakes. But also you gotta look at coaching because again, this points right at the coach. The play that was called, there was no need for it. You were up by quite a few points before the turnover and then you have the turnover. So this game falls on coaching because the rookie, I'm pretty sure, didn't call that on hit that play in particular. That obviously came from the sidelines there. So um, I'm gonna go with the Eagles here against the Giants. I would be really shocked if the Giants swept you guys. They haven't swept anybody in their division for some time, and although they've had their luck against Washington in the past, they were still splitting one, and so.
Well,
Um, I'm gonna just say Eagles will go ahead and handle their business here against New York Giants. So
well, that is a good topic to talk about. The last time you ego go to oh, that is the last time that the event tumble game, but I still take it. The ego, I believe the ego will get it done at home.
okay, so now we're gonna move on. We're gonna go straight out to the West Coast here. Still 1 o'clock game. You got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Houston Texans. Now, I know I've been picking against the 49ers every single week, and I'm going to continue that streak. And I'm going to say Texans get this victory against the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, 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 I know a bit game fucking football. That week, I made a game. I made it that thing up game. But I still picking my football at the ear
Suspicious.
to the game over Houston.
All right. And now we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to you got Bears versus Ravens. Now the Ravens had a bye and they're coming back off a bye. They had a struggling September and a struggling October. So here we are. Um, who you got, Bears or Ravens?
The that week, the week, I tell you not the football. Uh, 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 we, the Baltimore. This I don't know what happening. I hope that league can benefit us from them. But yeah, that's the sort of me. Baltimore lose the game. So give me a bigger bill. I believe the bill will get it done over
Okay.
Baltimore.
Uh, I'm gonna go with Baltimore here. I think Baltimore somehow gets another victory here, and start to change the course that they were heading on. I think they realized they pulled into the dry dock there, got patched up, and they're back out at sea. So look, I'll just say Ravens over Bears. Uh, let's look at Browns and Patriots.
We uh uh the Brown. over okay if that yeah Patriot okay but that's for me I think the black over the Patriot.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots here. I think the Patriots get this victory over the Browns. Okay. Bills are back. They were also on a bye. They're back. Hopefully, they're well rested and ready to go. They lost two back to back before their bye. They're now playing the Panthers. So, who do you got, Panthers or Bills?
I know a big game from Tampa that uh and not a good a put a for a bill but you know what? Jimmy I got the cat a Tampa out the Panther who get I get up there like a bill which free egg.
I think the Bills get this victory over the Panthers. Um, I'm not gonna go against Josh Allen and them after having a week off, time to prepare and focus on this game because this was the next game up for them. So I'm pretty sure they watched enough film. They should be prepared. If they're not, shame on them. But I think Bills over the Panthers. Dolphins versus Falcons.
Well he thought I could cut him up be put in the game over the Dolphins. Yeah, it could cut a play. We can we could cut uh maybe high okay game. But anyway, I go to it could be the Dolphins. I believe the Dolphins will get the win.
I agree. I think the Dolphins will get this victory over the Falcons. Now we're gonna move on to our 4 o'clock games, folks. And you got Bucks and Saints division rivals facing off here. I'm gonna pick the Bucks here. So who you got?
Yeah, the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating me the top four. All of them.
Okay, so we know that Evans got hurt
Yeah,
in their last game, but I still think the Bucks will have enough offense
yeah,
to pull through this over the
yeah,
Saints.
yeah. Talking about the Buccaneers, not ever he got the eye for the whole year. The other year.
Yes. Okay. Moving on from there, you got Cowboys Broncos at 4:25 tomorrow. So who you got?
Well,
Cowboys or Broncos? Can they can they round up the horses or will the horses give them the shoe?
uh, well, this game to watch. The Broncos can't they are being horrible. I think the football can't allow the they they want it hot, they want it high. They come back to me that game over you three 33 point
In one
comeback.
quarter. Yeah, in one quarter.
It
That's
was
crazy.
that this happened. This happened. So that happened when they got the Super Bowl. Okay, picture
Yeah.
picture is talking. The break that look good. That week and you need it gotta be the Bronco out be the Bronco what away from the Cowboys.
I think this is going to be a little bit closer game. I think the Broncos will probably keep stay close in this game. If the Broncos are home, and I don't know if they are or not, are they home?
I I don't know me
If they're home,
at the home.
I will probably say, let me just check because that sounds pretty bad that I'm not sure if they're home or not. And they are home.
Okay.
Cowboys are away. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think Broncos get this victory over the Cowboys. Um, Playing in Mile High Stadium is not easy, and
Yeah,
maybe that's what happened with the Giants. They ran
yeah,
out of gas at the end because you're in
yeah.
a higher atmosphere. Um, so I'll go with the Broncos over the Cowboys here. Moving on from that, the last game of the day of the evening, or yeah, evening would be Titans versus Colts. This is a division rival. I'm going with the Colts. Dan Jones and them has been hot. They are the leading franchise in the NFL right now. Very impressive. Very impressive. They are 6-1, I believe.
Yeah,
And
um,
so yeah, and they're home. They're 6-1 going against the 1-6 Titans. And I know that we talked about last week, the Titans lost their head coach. Um, I'm pretty sure with the interim head coach, they're going to do the best they can, but I think James Jones and them get it done.
for me, you pay me the job at the call. I believe the call. We have now, we have for that football.
Okay.
Oh
So
no!
okay, so now we want to talk about the primetime game, Sunday night football. And so you got Packers versus Steelers, Aaron Rodgers versus his old team versus Love and his coach over there versus him and Mike Tomlin. So it's going to be interesting. Who you got, Packers or Steelers?
Okay, you call the game. Yeah, I like the ball. I like the ball. Okay.
Wait,
Oh,
how many Aaron Rodgers bowls you gonna have? You had that at the very beginning of the season when they played against the Jets. Now,
well,
which one is it?
they're possible. Okay, they're possible.
Part two. Okay, part
Uh,
two.
I like the ball. Uh, 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 coming back to Atlanta. I know, I know, it will be hard to tear up that former team. So for me, I don't think you bad, I believe you bad will get the win over
Okay.
Atlanta and my Tottenham.
Okay. So this is gonna be pretty interesting. I'm gonna probably say, because the Packers are on the road, I'm gonna probably say I'm going with the Steelers here, versus the Packers. Even though yeah, the Packers, seem to be a pretty solid team this year, but something tells me that being on the road, I think Steelers pull off this victory. Then we go on to Monday Night Football, folks. Bum 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 bum. Monday Night Football. You have formerly known Washington Redskins, known as the Commanders, going against the Kansas City Chiefs Monday Night Football. Now, this used to be a very fun matchup when these two teams used to battle each other when Washington was called the Redskins. This was absolutely exciting game back then. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be exciting, even though now they call the Commanders. It's kind of, I don't know how you sell this marketing. It was marketing was like crazy before, but now who you got?
I got the game equal is the one, but, I don't care. I have that win. I have the history win over the winter. But I go with that game, that league. Come in, come in for it got be a little bit more difficult for for uh, to prepare. You have to don't get more.
Okay. So just so you know, the Chiefs are heavily favored in this game. Plus,
Yeah,
the Chiefs are home, so they're in Arrowhead, um, playing this game. It is so over lopsided. This might be the game to watch out for. And to be honest with you, Washington has always played pretty well against the Chiefs. Always. Okay. It is what it is. When we look at the history between these two teams and this matchup, when it does appears, they're rare, but when they do, they used to be very exciting. As I once said, you got the Commanders at 3-4 and the Chiefs at 4-3.
well,
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna pick the Commanders here to get a surprise victory in Arrowhead, and both teams will be 4-4
well,
going into the halfway point of the season. That's
well,
my prediction. So
for me, I got the game captain. If Eagle fan, I pick the captain. I put Eagle fan, I pick captain to
uh,
win the game.
well, of course you're gonna pick them. You want your division rival to be anyway.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
so
uh,
look, I was just saying, that hopefully that's an exciting game. It's a primetime game. It's Monday Night Football, and hopefully we'll get to see some exciting football.
we have
Um,
we have a team
for
off.
Thursday night, huh?
We have a team off this week. So if we just call your team that way that those teams could be off. I had a couple of teams that are off. They have
Yeah,
Detroit,
they have by
Jacksonville. Yeah, a couple more teams. Yeah,
the Chargers.
yeah. So yeah. So be prepared. A couple of teams are off.
Okay,
Um, uh, Thursday,
huh?
Thursday night game.
Thursday night game is a short week for the Ravens because right after they play tomorrow, they got to go straight into playing Miami. So they get to play the Dolphins Thursday night. Go fly themselves down to Florida and face the Dolphins there. Dolphins is 1-6. Ravens are 1-5 currently. If they win this weekend, which is not going to be easy for them going against the Bears, but if they do get the victory, they'll be 2-5, and so
If the
going
Dolphins
into
win,
Miami,
if the Dolphins win,
they'll be
come
2-6.
they go
So
to that.
So I'm gonna say here, this is gonna be an interesting game for a Thursday night football. 'Cause you know what? I'll go with the Ravens here. I think the Ravens get themselves back on track.
Uh,
They seem to be the favorite um, over the Dolphins, but
well, I believe it could be great. I believe it could be the root back. I have a root for tomorrow, but we got every.
okay.
Uh, so
So like, huh?
so this so every year we talk about game of the week pick. So that I need to ill. You can go first.
Okay, game of the week pick this week will probably, for me, I would say will probably be the Monday Night Football. Um, will probably be the Commanders versus the Chiefs.
Okay. Okay. From what
So the Broncos and Cowboys,
no, no, what,
Giants and Eagles.
no, market would be something that football, something I get out at weekday.
Okay, so let's just take a look at NFL standings right now. We're going to start off with the AFC East. Right now, you have the Patriots who leapfrogged the Bills. Remember, they beat the Bills, and one of those two losses that the Bills have. So Patriots is now 5-2 in their division, and you have the Bills at 4-2. The Miami Dolphins are at 1-6, and the New York Jets are 0-7. Okay, so now we're gonna head north, and you got the Steelers at 4-2. You have the Bengals at 3-4, and you have the Browns at 2-5, and the Ravens at 1-5. Just think about it. If the Jets get one victory, they're back in the hunt, not for a playoff, but back in the hunt of catching up to other teams because there's still teams with only one victory. You have the Colts leading the AFC conference at 6-1
I the best
in the
team,
South here, and you have Jacksonville right behind them at 4-3.
the best team. It got the top of the league. It could come.
Yes, in the entire league. That's correct. You have the Texans at 2-4, and the Titans at 1-6. And then you go west, and you have the Broncos at 4-2, who leapfrog the Chargers, who was leading the division for some time, who is now 5-3. And you have the Chiefs at 4-3, and you have the Raiders at 2-5. So that means this game with the Chiefs and the Commanders is very important, although it's not a conference game. Um, if they get this victory, why the Chargers are in their bye, they will have a tied record. But the Chargers, because they beat them earlier this season, would have the tiebreaker there until they have their second matchup. Um, but it will be interesting. And if the Broncos lose to the Cowboys, you'll have basically a three-way tie in that division. And that becomes quite interesting at that point out there. So let's move on to the NFC and look at their standings. NFC, you have on the East, the Eagles sitting at 5-2. You got the Cowboys sitting at 3-3 and tie, right? And one tie. They tied with the Packers, folks. And you have Commanders sitting at 3-4, and the Giants sitting at 2-5. And then you have Packers sitting in the North at 4-1 as they tie with the Cowboys. You have the Lions at 5-2,
That like
and you have the Bears at 4-2, and then Vikings at 3-4.
I,
The
I,
Vikings really didn't look good this past Thursday. I don't know what's going on there.
yeah, I don't know what happened.
Wentz didn't look. I
Yeah,
mean, he just looked like he wanted to go home.
yeah,
Like he had the flu. He looked like somebody from one of
yeah,
those commercials that needed a warm blanket and a thermometer and his feet in a hot tub. He just looked really miserable in that game. So let's move on from there. Let's go to the NFC South. You got the Bucks leading their division at 5-2. Panthers, surprisingly, 4-3, folks, considering where they were just a year ago. And you have the Falcons at 3-3 and the Saints sitting at 1-6. It just shows you how quickly some of these teams turn around. They bounce back after some changes right away. And then ending it out west, you have the 49ers at 5-2, which I didn't pick them to be anywhere near that. And you got Seattle sitting at 5-2 with Sam Donald. The Rams sitting at 5-2. Uh, with Stafford, and then you have the Cardinals sitting at 2-5 on the West Coast. So you have a three-way tie out west, and you might see that on the AFC side, depending on what happens this weekend, what happens tomorrow, and Monday night. You might have a three-way tie out there. So it seems like the West is holding down the league. They seem to have pretty strong, popular teams on both NFC and AFC side, and then the rest of the league is basically doing their thing. They're cooking, but I'm gonna say this is right kind of where it should be for the NFL, right towards the mid-season of where teams are standing. So uh we don't have a clear leader in the NFC side like we do on the AFC
yeah.
side. And
Result.
right now the Colts is the best team in the NFL right now with Daniel Jones leading the way.
Yeah, but you own that fucking code. But we got
Yeah. So interesting. They're playing they're balling out there. And so that's it, folks.
yeah,
I can't believe week 9 is right around the corner. I am looking at some of these games for next week. Oh my God, this is going to be uh, interesting. And don't forget, you got a trade deadline coming up as
yeah.
well.
Oh, and
I don't foresee trades coming for next week or the week after. I don't know anybody that's really that unhappy at the franchises that they're at that they're demanding a trade. But anything's possible. We'll see what happens if there's any trades coming up. But there's been nothing that I've heard. How about you, Alex? Have you heard anything? Any rumors around the league of somebody possibly
well,
looking to be traded?
the one more, yeah. I believe coming into Monday, the coming in Monday, morning, there could be a couple of more, but not a big trade to come. Um, I think nobody move a lot that is big, big move. Uh, I believe every part of the same team, they could be confirmed here. No, not big putting move about the lead. So we got a lead about that. Of course. ako cover it but you or the week or this on this on I told book you more freaky or this on uh uh I can't cover the week.
Well, look, here's a possibility. If there is going to be a trade, I would say position will probably be wide receiver or quarterback. I mean, we did see the trade with the Browns and Bengals right in their own division. They traded Joe Flacco, which is kind of surprising. But keep in mind, Evans went down for the Bucks. Um, they may be in the hunt for a receiver, and maybe somebody is looking quietly for a way out from where they're at, and maybe might make a change and make it to the Bucks. That might be the one key piece. They might, if they get the right component there, they might be unstoppable on the NFC side. And so right now, you got the Eagles and the Lions looking hot, and the Bucks looking hot in the division. I know you say 49ers, but you know what? With the amount of
Uh,
injuries riddling them right now, I am not confident in them. I think that's just a shadow team.
uh, uh, uh,
Somehow, some way, they are figuring out a way to win, but I am
well,
not confident in that
well,
franchise right now. So,
well, I guess in the middle right now. Couple people are happy. Couple people are happy. We got see.
so could AJ Brown end up in the Bucks? Who knows?
He
You
might,
never know. I
he
know
might,
he might be out this game. They say so.
he might be
Uh,
out. We got this some more. It, someone more before it's confirmed. But about now, yeah, because it's about the happy or not for each other. We got the
okay. All right, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week
yeah.
for week 9 of the
Yeah.
NFL.